Within our economics statecraft, Mr. Secretary, is the idea of our new debt and our new deficit. Congressional Budget Office driving forward this conversation. We have Reinhardt and Reinhardt, not Reinoff and Rogoff, Carmen Reinhardt, Vincent Reinhardt, writing on where we are 10 years on in this new edition of Foreign Affairs. But it comes down to a debt. Your thoughts on a debt growing easily out over $1 trillion. And we have one guest who has suggested with economic slowdown, we could begin to look at a crisis near $2 trillion deficit.
You know, I think the growth of the deficit over a period of strong economic growth is very troubling. Usually, deficits go up when you're in a recession or when you're in a war. We don't usually drive the deficit out of control when we're in a period of sustained high growth. I have a number of concerns. First of all, our borrowing requirements will keep growing. That means that, for all the focus on the trade deficit, when you have a fiscal deficit, you're borrowing money from overseas, you're driving up the trade deficit, that's going to have a powerful negative impact on our trade balances. Secondly, it has an effect on interest rates. It drives up not just Treasury rates, but all rates in the economy. Third, we need to have fiscal capacity when the economy needs it. We're in the 10th year of a recovery. We're not going to grow forever. Whether it's 6 months, a year, or 2 years from now, we're going to wish we had more fiscal space.
Your charm, he has a limited charm, is you worked in the legislative branch for years and then in the executive branch. Many of you won't know that Secretary Lew also served in state for a while. Your charm is you understand the addictions of Washington. Is debt, is a growing deficit, does it become an addictive process for the Beltway?
I think right now you have an unusual situation. There is no loud chorus for fiscal responsibility. Fiscal conservatives voted for a tax cut that cost $2 trillion over 10 years and blew a hole in any plan for fiscal balance. Progressives are saying, 2 Democratic administrations in a row were fiscally responsible, and what did they do? They were followed by Republican administrations that spent more than we had on tax cuts. I'm worried that putting together any coalition to care about fiscal responsibility is much harder now.